Humans are incredibly social and collaborative species that are intricately and complex, with an intricately complex interdependency upon one another. We raise children together, we work together, we learn together, we eat together, we play together, and the list goes on and on and on. And the glue that bonds us is our common capacity and desire for attachment, that drive to connect, to share, and to protect as well as care. Securely attached human approach relationships work cooperatively. They work together to achieve common goals, seek and give empathetic validation, share accurate and truthful information, and express affection and vulnerability to build trust and intimacy in our relationships. There may be a disagreement, there may be conflict, but mutual support is always the foundation of respect, a respectful and loving relationship. By contrast, by complete, stark, utter contrast, for a narcissist personality, their attachment is antagonistic. It is a concept in biology that refers to a relationship with one organism that benefits at the expense of another. And common forms of antagonism are in nature are predators, competition, parasites. Let's look at these dynamics that work in narcissistic human relationships. So number one would be subjugation. A predator typically kills and eats its prey to gain life-giving energy. In a predatory human relationship, there may be murder, but more often there is a condition of ongoing domination and subjugation. And because narcissists view all relationships as a struggle for dominance, they emotionally and perhaps also physically and sexually oppress, intimidate, and violate others to experience and maintain feelings of power and control. So narcissistic supply, or the display of dominance. It may be flagrant forms of aggression such as hitting, pushing, berating, name-calling, playing favorites, critiquing, monologuing, and there may be even more passive-aggressive maneuvers like dismissal, silent treatment, backhanded compliments, joking barbs, veiled threats, and triangulating. And whatever the strategy and however well it is rationalized or disguised, the purpose is to bully the other person into submission. So the competition. We all know that competition is another type of relational antagonism that is a characteristic of narcissism. Narcissists, they approach relationships oppositionally, viewing other people, including their own children, as competitors for resources, and that resource being narcissistic supply. The resources may also be other tangible things, but they are most often intangible interpersonal resources such as attention, acknowledgement, inclusion, respect, admiration, and affection. So seeing life as a zero-sum game in which they can only win if someone else loses, narcissists continually work to undermine and one-up those around them while asserting their superiority and greater entitlement. Typically, the competitive and narcissistic behaviors within families and other social groups include comparing, bragging, over-talking, blaming, shaming, cheating, exaggerating, denying, diminishing, and excluding, applying double standards, distorting and withholding information, as well as taking undue credit. So what about the third part of this? So third, we have parasitism. Parasitism is another common relational dynamic that a narcissist has within their antagonistic attachment style. A parasite feeds off of a host organism to the host's detriment, causing depletion, disease, and sometimes even death. Between humans, parasitism shows up as exploitation within relationships, usually with the parasitic narcissist manipulating or coercing the other person into providing ongoing resources such as money, housing, privilege, social standing, sex, caretaking, and other forms of service, and to render the host easier to exploit. The narcissist typically uses such tactics as isolation, guilt, seduction, fawning, gaslighting, and while employing forms of intermittent reinforcement to create the illusion of reciprocity in the relationship not only drains the host of their physical and emotional resources, it also alienates that person from his or her own self-preserving instincts and ability to maintain safe emotional and personal boundaries. So there's hidden abuse. A lot of us understand what hidden abuse looks like. People who are narcissistic seldom make their antagonism transparent for the simple reason that they will suffer negative consequences if they do. Even overt narcissists who are more brashly superior and domineering than other types know that they will not get far in life if they fail to adhere, or at least give the appearance of adhering to some rules of societal norms, whether it is with acquaintances, friends, family members, whatever. So for narcissists, it becomes expedient to mask their harsh self-interest and contempt for others and develop more socially acceptable strategies for getting what it is that they want from these relationships. It is common for narcissists to cultivate an agreeable, very generous, charming, caring, pious, or noble persona to attract a partner or a target and to win favor in the social and professional context. The disparity between a narcissist's public and private face, a difference that is often especially dramatic in the covert form of narcissism, is one of the most confusing and dangerous aspects of the personality disorder itself. This disparity makes the reality of abuse for those targeted within families more difficult to recognize and even more difficult to call out. It is very important to note that a form of an antagonistic attachment is a bioecological phenomenon, except for a competition. Normally, this is happening between two different species and not members of the same species. Within the human species, regardless of cultural or national borders, such behavior is widely viewed as abhorrent. And in psychology, it is categorized as pathological. In ethics, it is immoral. In mythology and religious contexts, it is called evil. And there is very good reason for this. Antagonistic attachment results in profound, complex trauma that cascades through the targeted individual's lifespan from one family to the next, across generations, and deep into our social fabric and social institutions. My name is Sara Ann Brown, and this is Narcissistic Abuse 101.